to solve the problem.
Will Greece take any of the responsibility in case this worst case scenario happens, because it prevented Macedonia from entering a security organization back in 2008?
Greece has never prevented your country from entering NATO. That was a decision unanimously made by the NATO Council at the highest level. Of course, Greece expressed her concerns and her positions, but the arguments that we used convinced the NATO Council to adopt unanimously one decision, and this decision is that we have to solve the problem, and then the path, the way and the prospects of your country's candidacy to NATO will happily move on.
If Greece had accepted that Macedonia gets into NATO with the interim name, former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, which is the Article 11 of the interim agreement, let me quote it, the first part agrees not to object to the application by or the membership of the second part in international, multilateral and regional organizations, and of which the party of the first part is a member. So why didn't Greece accept Macedonia to enter into NATO with the interim name? What was the problem?
I'm very happy that you refer to the interim agreement, because the interim agreement is not only one article, the one that you mentioned.
This is Article 11 that refers to membership in international organizations.
There is a number of articles, and the most important of these articles are the provisions that aim to create a very positive atmosphere between the two countries. And these articles referring to the obligation of governments and other organizations to avoid hostile propaganda, to avoid falsification of history. And I'm sorry to say that particularly during Mrs. Gruevski's government, we had consecutive violations of the interim agreement. On this particular article of the interim agreement, referring to the obligation to avoid hostile nationalistic propaganda against the other side.
What is hostile nationalistic propaganda according to you?
First of all,
renaming an airport?
Demonizing Greece, because that was the only and permanent message coming from Gruevski's government, not from the people of your country, but from Gruevski's government. Yes, it was a constant aim. Secondly, renaming of the airport. It was clear right from the beginning that this decision could provoke a negative feeling in Greece. Despite this decision was taken all of a sudden, and then we had an industry of renaming streets, villages, international corridors. This what here in European Parliament, people in Brussels and in Europe, people call antiquization of politics, and this is a term invented. This is a jargon, a European jargon invented in an effort to show and characterize the policy of your government.
Okay, let's move on to something else. This is the past. Yes. What do you think of the new Greek government? The European Union seems very happy to have Papandreou as the prime minister. Many bilateral direct contacts have been made between both prime ministers. There is a new dynamic. There is a new window of opportunity. Do you share the enthusiasm of the
European Union does not make any preferences between governments, first of all. Secondly, because you have to cooperate with the governments democratically elected in the member states. So there are no preferences. Of course, there is a feeling, this I can admit, there is a feeling even in the European Parliament that this could be a window of opportunity, the change of government in Greece. You know, people could have this impression based on the 2 or 3 contacts between Prime Minister Papandreou
Even
and
yesterday
Gruevski.
they talked.
Even yesterday they talked. So people are under the impression that this is the start or the beginning of new dynamics in solving the name issue. My interpretation, because we have not so far been officially informed on the content of these face-to-face meetings, we have not been informed as an opposition party, okay, officially. So what I can guess is that Prime Minister Papandreou tries with these bilateral meetings to facilitate the ongoing negotiations under the UN auspices and not to substitute the ongoing negotiation process with these bilateral meetings. Okay, this is an effort to facilitate. So Greece, irrespective of government, shows once again her goodwill. But what people should take very seriously into consideration is the position of the government. And the position of the Papandreou government, as far as the substance of the name issue is concerned, has not changed at all. The message is clear, the position is a national position in Greece. All parties agree that what we are looking for is a composite name with a geographical adjective that will be used for every use. So this is the national position of Greece, our red line, and believe me, no Greek government will change this position.
But there isn't really a problem with the name. The ruling party in its electoral program has no problem with the changing of the name. It has a problem with the changing of the identity and the language. And your president a few months ago publicly stated that there is no such thing as a Macedonian language. So isn't this a provocation?
This is our interpretation. Do you have...
This is not interpretation. The Macedonian language is an official language since 77.
No. This is our interpretation based...
interpretation.
This is our interpretation based on facts. We know very well that... I mean, why are we going back to this story? Okay, let's go back to... You know...
This is the heart of the negotiations.
There has never been a Macedonian language.
There has never been what?
A Macedonian language.
Are you saying that Macedonian language doesn't exist?
Because the language in this region is a language that is used by the Slav people.
Okay,
it is a Slav... many years, thousands of years after the Macedonians, Alexander the Great, was born in this region.
The Macedonian language is recognized officially by the United Nations since 1977, and it is taught in universities and schools around the world.
Let me give you an answer by a question. Let me give you an answer by a question.